Hi there, and welcome to my advanced guide for Stellaris 3.0. This episode has two main focuses, stability and the market. For a full list of chapters, check out the description. Here we are back in the Othethi Interplanetary Assembly. The year is 2204, and we currently have our capital world and our first colony, which we are slowly turning into a generator world. Otherwise, in terms of expansion, our second colony out here, we're going to be getting that soon. We've got a colony ship going there, and we are building some star bases to get there. Let's get going. So something to briefly note here is that down at the bottom, there's details map mode. So if I just turn that on for a minute, you'll see that there's quite a bit of stuff that I'm not getting in my general overview when I've not got that turned on. For instance, I can't see the mining outposts or the research bases that I have in space. If I don't have that turned on, I can only see the unbuilt deposits. And I also can't see my anomalies. In addition to that, if there were alien empires out here, I wouldn't be able to see the planets in their space if I had access to be able to see them. And now, so something to touch on is these two anomalies. Now I've got two anomalies here that I haven't done anything about. One of them's actually just popped up recently, and I'm not actually going to touch these for a little while. And why is that? So I currently have two science ships. The first science ship is surveying here Kuros, and the second one's doing nothing at the moment, but I will fix that presently. Other than that, I don't really have many alloys. I have 169, and I'm getting 12 per month extra, which is a fine number, but it's not much. So what I'm going to be doing with these science ships is I'm going to be pushing them out to the edges of my empire and exploring. And I'm not going to be surveying anomalies because I want to be pushing out into space and finding out what's there kind of as quickly as I can without overextending myself in terms of the number of science ships I've got. Later on, as I get more alloys and more alloy production, I'm going to be building science ships in my internal worlds to start surveying these anomalies. If I don't survey them now, I'm not really losing anything except possible positive outcomes of the anomalies. They'll still sit there. No other empire will be able to survey them on my behalf and take them from me. So I know these planets, these systems are going to be either in my space or basically not in anyone else's space. So I can leave these anomalies alone. And now what am I going to do with this science ship with further expansion goals? Well, I'm going to send it out beyond Rim, and I'm going to queue up some survey systems. At this point, I'm not actually desperately looking for other planets. I'm not going to be doing the explore, so I'm just going to be doing some survey actions. And then I'm also going to be building another science ship at my capital. I won't build it yet because I'll be needing these extra alloys quite soon, but I will build it eventually. Something else you've probably seen me fiddling with, but I haven't explained, is the marketplace. So let's briefly look at that, because at the moment I am on negative 1.32 consumer goods, and I don't really like to have any of my numbers negative, so I'm going to be trying to fix that. So I've opened up the market and we've got this screen here. How does it work? Well, at the moment I've only got the internal market. You could kind of look at that as the black market or whatever you want later on in the game. Once we form the galactic community, you could call it the Galactic Republic, I don't really mind. We will be probably proposing the galactic market, which will then have slight differences to this one, but I'll start with just the internal market. So at the moment we've got resource, we've got minerals, food, alloys and consumer goods, and those are represented up here. And there's nothing else we can really click on. We have a market fee that at the moment is 30% for us. That's a base. Later on in the game we're going to be trying to reduce that. We can get that down to a minimum of 5%. Now what does any of this mean? We've also got grayed out here is energy credits. We can't trade energy credits. Why is that? Well, energy credits are money. They're credits, they're cash. That's what we're using to trade. That's our basis for currency. So let's go to minerals, for instance. Well, I can see here there's a buy price and a sell price. If I hover over the mineral itself, I can see the per unit price. That's going to be hovering around a central number, and the same for all of these. They have base values. So for minerals and food, the unit price base is 1. For alloys, it's 4, and for consumer goods, it is 2. That's energy as well. All these prices are in energy. So what we can do is we can buy or sell these resources either in blocks. Different resources of different base values have different blocks you can sell them in. For instance, alloys are 25, 125, 250, whereas minerals are 100, 500, 1000. So What we're going to be doing with this is we're using the internal market to balance our economy. At the moment, I've actually got some automatic trade set up. Now, what's an automatic trade? Well, that's slightly different to a buy and sell. If I just click on this, for instance, if I were to click on this button here, I would sell 100 food and get 70 energy. But by setting up a monthly trade, at the end of each month, when it ticks over, I'm going to be selling a certain amount of whichever resource it is. So for instance, in this case, I'm selling one consumer good, and that's just going to sell. If I have the stockpile to do that, it will sell it and it will trade it for the price we can see on the market here. So it will trade it for 1.4 energy credit. Now the reason it's 1.4 is we have our base price of 2, and then we either take off or add on the market fee. At the moment that's 30%. So by reducing our market fee down, we reduce the margins for our buy and sell. We can also set a minimum sell price or a minimum buy price. What I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to remove this selling of one consumer good, and instead I'm going to start buying one consumer good. There are some keyboard shortcuts as well you should probably note. So if I press Shift and plus, I can get 100, Control and plus 10, and Shift and Control at the same time I can get 1,000. So I just go backwards there. Let's go back down to 1. So I'm going to buy 1, and I don't want to be buying it for more than, let's say, 3. Okay. Now, as you buy or sell things, the price of these resources will go up or down. So if I were to buy 100 minerals, the price of minerals would go up. Now what's going to happen as well, as you don't buy or sell things, the price will gradually return to the base price. It's 1 here for the base resources, food and minerals, as I said, 2 for consumer goods, 4 for alloys. In addition, you've got your strategic resources. We don't have them yet. The base price of most of those is 10. Some of them are 20. The volatile motes, exotic gases, rare crystals is all 10. Dark matter's 20, Zro I think is 22, I can't remember off the top of my head, but we'll see if we get those resources. Other empires, if you don't produce those resources, you can't buy or sell them. Now, interestingly, if you can trade someone for a single rare resource, you can begin buying and selling it either on the internal market or on the galactic market. So something that's quite good can be to buy a single volatile mote from the AI, then allowing you to purchase monthly volatile motes. So that's something to bear in mind for later. So at the moment I'm resetting this to 1. I'm making sure I'm selling plenty of food, so I'm converting that into energy credits because I don't really need all that excess food. I've got my 2 colony ships up and running. And then at the moment, minerals are quite cheap. I might even buy, well, I completely clear the tile blockers on my capital. Yes, I'm going to start buying some extra minerals. At the moment, I'm just going to buy 5 minerals per month, which will reduce my energy credit income, but it will increase my mineral income by 5, so I'll be getting next to 40. If we just get to the end of the month, we'll see here. There we are. So now I get 40, 0 on the consumer goods. Great. So it can usually be a little bit better to buy in small amounts per month because that actually doesn't tend to change the price. If you can see here, none of the prices of any of these things have changed because I've bought such small quantities. So that can be quite an important thing to do. And then here we've just completed our first physics technology. What am I going to take next? Well, at this point, I'm looking at the cheaper technologies. I'm not looking to get in combat soon. I don't want these improved deflectors. The field modulation plus 20% from my technicians. And also newly, we're going to get any starbase. So if we've got solar panels, that would increase the energy output of solar panels by 20%. But this is quite a good one. We've got some technicians on our homeworld. We've got 4. And in addition to that, we've also got two technicians. Well, we'll soon have 2 technicians on our external world. Now, something that's happened here is we've got physics research empty. Let's take a look at that quickly because it might seem like there's a problem here. Oh no, we've got empty research, but actually it's not that big a deal. So if we wait for the month to tick over, it seems like we're wasting research, but we're not. And the reason for that is there's something called stored research. So I go in here now, and I go to look at these. Let's say I'm going to pick field modulation, which is what I'm going to pick. Research station output's fine, but at the moment I'm actually only getting 3 science from physics. I'd much rather have this plus 20% energy credits. That's going to be much more helpful for the economy. Now we hover over here. This tooltip tells us where the progress is. So we're getting 101 per month. Let's look at the breakdown there. So we're getting 47.56. That's our generation plus 14%. Well, we can see that. And then we've got stored research plus 47. So if you don't actually choose a research option, for up to 6 months, you store that research not used, and then you can push it back into research progress. So So really there's no issue with waiting a few months to pick a research option. This is especially important in multiplayer where you can't necessarily pause the game. You shouldn't worry if you're having to wait, it should be fine. And this site ship, I am going to send it out to the other end of my space, and I'm going to begin surveying over here. Now, at the moment we have some unemployment on our capital. We've got 3 pops employed in the clerk jobs, and then we've got a spare job here, a worker job, a technician job on Tritonus. Now we are going to see something happen now, which is auto pop resettlements. So what's going to happen if we wait long enough, there's a base chance every month that this pop will naturally migrate over. Migrate is probably the wrong word because migration is something slightly different, a different mechanic. It will automatically resettle itself to Tritonus. And we're actually going to be using that feature heavily because these 6 clerks here, we're going to want to push them off world. At the moment they are balancing our amenities, but we're going to want to build a city district and then probably a holo theatre. And once we've got those up, we should be getting some more amenities. So we want to push it off world. Is there anything we have to do? Are there any bonuses? Well, if we just wait, eventually that pop will just jump over here and take this job if there's a free job. We are building a second generated district because this population is going to be completed quite soon in 6 months. And there are some bonuses you can get. So at the moment we're a democratic authority. That's going to increase our auto-resettlement chance by 50%. Later on, if you research stage 2 hyperdrives, you get access to a special star-based building, and that building is going to increase your automatic resettlement chance by 100%. That can be really good on some planets where you've got massive population growth and you're wanting to shift all those pops off somewhere else in your empire. And now we're here looking at our society research. So we have hydroponic bay. That's now actually quite a hydroponic bay is quite nice. We actually get 10 food from that, as opposed to before where I think it was 4 or 6 or something. We get 10, and it's also modified by technology. So a hydroponics bay can actually be used to balance your food outputs, because we're not really going to need very much food in order to be getting enough food. And now that the technicians are producing so much more energy, it's not really efficient to be producing lots of excess food and selling it for energy. So with our first 2 worlds, we're probably going to specialize one in mining and one in energy credits, and then possibly use hydroponics bays to or buy food from the market to keep our economy balanced. Looking at the other 2 technologies where we've got this ground defense planning, extra soldier jobs, extra defense army damage. That's a reasonable technology, but we don't need it right now. On the other hand, soil remediation, that's going to let us clear tile blockers. Now, tile blockers are super important to clear in this version of the game because it will increase our planetary capacity, and therefore it will increase our pop growth on our planets. So I'm going to take this soil remediation technology because we look at this planet here, we've got 1 tile blocker there, and over here on Rim we have another tile blocker to be removed. And we've had the seismic disturbances event chain start up. We have to deal with the situation. Well, in that one, the society one is going to take a lot less time than the engineering one. So I'm actually going to go with that one just for now. It's only going to take 22 months. And then we'll actually get a job on this planet which is going to balance our amenities and our get some extra trade value and extra amenities, which will be really good. The liaison officer. So that'll be a free job we don't have to do anything about. Now, in addition to that, we can see that the population on Deathak, the extra member we had, has migrated over here to this technician job. Fantastic. We can also now unemploy one of these clerks, and we're going to get that clerk pushed over here to this planet too. And then we'll be, we're already at 5 population, and the planet designation has changed to a generator world. I'm just going to go into colony designation, and I'm going to pick that manually now, because once you're at 5 population, you can no longer have the colony planet type. Whereas this generator is going to increase our technician output by 25%, which is really quite high. So let's look at these jobs. What are they getting? Well, we need to get to the end of the month. There we are. I'll unpause it for a moment just so we can work it out. 7.4 energy credits, 7.42. So that means we're producing 20 energy just on this little planet here alone, which is great. Now, that's partly being buffed by stability. So on our homeworld, we did this crime lord deal to increase our stability. But how does stability work, and what are we doing with it? So, what stability gives you, if every point above 50 that you are, you get plus 0.6% resource from jobs. You also get increased immigration pull, and you get plus 0.6% trade value. And that's pushing up our trade value here by an amount on our capital, as well as our individual jobs. If we open up and take a look at them, we are getting a bonus from stability to our output. And that's for all of our resource producing jobs, which includes scientists. That's important to note. Science is a resource, so you will be getting extra from that. What it won't be increasing is things like crime or the number of planetary defense armies, and it also won't be increasing the amount of amenities you're producing. So high stability doesn't give you a knock-on effect into amenities. But how can we influence high stability? Well, we got plus 10 from the crime law deal. Now in the beta at the moment, something to note, everyone, is that if you take this crime law deal, you're going to be getting crime jobs. So it's no longer and when they roll that out to all the to the main branch of the game, which is what I'm playing here, 3.0.2, you're going to be seeing that crime is going to be getting getting extra jobs, and you really probably don't want that. I mean, the extra 10% output, extra 10 stability is going to be a 6% output. Losing 2 population, probably not going to be worth that extra 6%. Probably. I mean, maybe there's some edge cases, but I'm going to say we're probably not going to be wanting to take this anymore. So how can you boost stability other than that, though? Well, pop approval rating. So if we look at demographics, we've got a happiness indicator here. Now, what is that? That is influenced by, if we go to happiness here, that's influenced by the living conditions our pops have. In addition, if we have high enough amenities, so if I go to one of our other planets, we've got plus 2 amenities, that's increasing our happiness by plus 3.6%. I believe if you have something like double the number of amenities to amenities used, you're going to be getting a maximum of plus 20%. But that's actually increasing the happiness of our pops, which is increasing our demographic overall happiness across the board, which is bringing up our stability. In addition to that, I'm also getting plus 5 from police state, which is good, I suppose. That was kind of unintended. I forgot the police state did that to us, but that's good. Then if you have overcrowding, if you have low amenities, and if you have crime, you're going to be reducing the stability. Now, if your stability is above 30%, you've got nothing to worry about. Below 30%, you're going to be start getting negative events, and you're going to be getting below 10%. You can actually get the planet to revolt, and that's awful. The planet revolt, join some other empire somewhere, and you'll be kind of screwed a little bit. Well, you can be. It doesn't necessarily always join another empire, but a lot of the time it does. So you want to keep above 50. Below 50 as well, to note, instead of getting plus 6%, you'll be getting minus 1% to resources and trade value. So being below 50 is much, much worse than being above 50. In addition, if you've got overcrowding, you're going to be getting negative stability. But in this edition, you should probably never have overcrowding. Unless you're a machine empire or something like that, or you should always be getting you should always be having available housing, because you'll be trying to push this planet capacity up into the stratosphere as high as you can get it. I'm also going to begin taking good resource deposits where they are. So for instance, here there's 2 4 energy deposits. I'm going to take those because they're reasonably high. And then over in this system, I can see a 6 and a 4 energy deposit. So I'm going to take those quite soon as well. To do that, I'm going to queue up a construction ship, and that construction ship is going to fly over here to Redathi, and it's going to take that system quite soon. And that is where I'm going to wrap up this episode. If you've enjoyed it, please leave a like. If you've got any feedback, please leave a comment. And if you'd like to see more content like this, please subscribe. In addition, if you'd like to support the channel on Patreon, there's a link in the description below.